Part two. So, a lot of people don't realize that part of grieving isn't just the grief of the separation of the relationship between you and someone else, but it also includes grieving of yourself. And what I mean by that is, I find that when I'm grieving the loss of relationship with someone, um, I have to grieve myself and my choices. Um, I am grieving and having to reassess. That's what I'm grieving the need to reassess or reevaluate um, how open and receptive I am to allowing new people in my life, meeting someone new, the level of trust I'm going to extend them. That ground zero I talked about earlier. Um, by letting you come in with a clean slate and then allowing you to go either up in the positive range or below in the negative range. Um, where do I have to move that line to? And if I have to move that line for someone new, do I have to move that line for someone old? Excuse me. That's a grief process in itself, because you're grieving the loss of the old you and having to get to know the new you, the new me. It's quite uncomfortable, but necessary. Honestly, I just want to be me and be unapologetic for whatever it is that I choose to do or not to do. If you don't agree, I don't care. Um, I'm not even going to pretend to care. If I like you, I like you. If I don't, I don't. And let's also talk about the grief of time, the loss of time, and the change of culture and social norms that are acceptable and non acceptable. I'm starting to realize that this isn't just about grief, excuse me, but it's about change. Because grief is definitely about change of circumstance of your existence, whether physically, emotionally, mentally. It's, relationship wise, interacting, an existence. But change socially and economically and just all around change, it is necessary if we are growing. There are some areas where we are not growing, where we are actually digressing. I recognize that. But at the end of the day, if I don't have access to control it, I'm not going to sit here and overthink about it. Now, that's not saying that I don't get up in my head and I don't overthink. I overthink about a lot of stuff. This expression of my blogs today is a act of getting out of my head, discussing it on this medium, and I believe that there are other people that think the same way I do, feel the same way I do. I haven't seen any content about it, so I figured, why not? Right? I mean, if I'm going to be here, and I'm going to be here with a blast, I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to do what I want. If you like it, I don't care. If I like it, more power to me. If I choose not to like it, I'll change it or delete it. Actually, I probably won't delete it because, of course, I'll get up in my head and I'll be like, well, for posterity's sake, I might need it somewhere along the line. I mean, what, my great-great-great-great-grandchildren might want to pull it up and say, hey, there's my great-great-great-great-grandmother, Sonora. Oh, my God, look, she had a lull in time where she had shit on her mind, too. Yeah, I like her. She's kind of cool because I am kind of cool. I am pretty awesome. And I am a sexy mofo. But let's put that to the side. I am who I am. I believe that everything that we do, everything that we say will affect someone. No, it will affect many. But those messages are specific for certain people. You never know what I have to say and how it's going to affect someone else in the future. Someone may need to have that support, or see that, hey, it's not just me. Hey, it's okay to be just me. We don't have to conform to anyone. We don't have to please anyone. It's so funny because people think that because I can change my mind when I get new information and reassess and reevaluate the information and come up with a different conclusion or something else that I've decided that I'm going to do, and contrary to what I had said originally, they think that I am being pleasing to someone else. No, that's just me being human. I am reassessing the situation and the information, and I'm making a different decision after having more information. I like to make informed decisions, but that makes me human. Now, the fact that I'm a Gemini, that makes me superhuman. I am conservative, and I'm also liberal. Depends on what the situation is, what the conversation is, what the subject matter is. I also am just free. I'm fluid. I can do what I want, with whom I want, where I want, how I want. I can have a conversation with just about anything, and just about to anyone. And information that is new to me that I'm not familiar with, I don't have a problem going and studying about it. Because I love a great stimulating conversation and learning something new. Oh my God, that just turns me on. You have no idea. Anyway, I've always been a brainiac. And because of that, I don't meet very many people that stimulate an outstanding conversation with me. So I guess that's a little bit of a grief, not finding someone equal to myself. This happened once or twice. And stimulating it is to meet someone like me, someone that values communication like me, someone with new perspective. I love new perspective. You know, sometimes I catch myself putting myself in my own containment with 6 walls, right? And just can't see past that wall. And then it'll take someone new to walk up and say, well, you know, I can see where you're coming from. However, have you considered this? So sexy. Anyway, back to change. Back to grieving the current, now the past, and the outlook for the future. Although painful it may be to grieve the loss of those that I have extended a close friendship, relationship, love, partnership with. And again, I'm human. Yes, it hurts. But I have noticed that it makes me richer. I still value relationships. Probably the remaining relationships I value even stronger, particularly after the separation or the loss of another relationship. And I kind of go through and I do a light reassessment of, you know, the remaining relationships. And when I do that, you know, it's kind of like a comparison. It's not really fair to everybody else. They don't know that I'm doing that. But, you know, how else am I supposed to move on? Now, when I get some new information and a new way to do it, I'll do it if it works for me. But I can be that free-loving girl dancing on the dance floor. I can be the one sitting in the chair looking at her dance. I can be the overthinker. Or I can be the one that just jumps in without a plan. I can be the loud, boisterous one, oftentimes I am. And the one that breaks out in laughter and tears because it's so funny. And then heartache and silence with tears streaming down my face because it's so sad. Going to a museum and being introduced to new things and new history and new creativity, stimulating as though it may be. But leaving the building and seeing the new artwork the Lord has created just for me in the sky, or the new person that I'm going to meet, just bumping into them because I turned a corner too quickly or too sharply. But above all, I grieve because I'm human. I grieve because when I love you with everything. Everything about me, without condition. And I think the betrayal that hurts the most, which causes my grief to be deeper, is the fact that I have put so much importance into you and prioritized you and your feelings and your access to me above me, my feelings, and the access I've given. I can't just be, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't just extend unconditionally, because now I'm finding out everybody else's part of the relationship has always been conditional in comparison to my unconditional access. I doubt that I will adopt that behavior, but it is certainly at the back of my mind. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something from it. It's been therapeutic for me. I'm sure I'll come up with something else, but this was fun. Peace.